So when it comes to the P power, and this is equally applicable to FE electrical, my personal observation as to why candidates struggle with these high stake exams is as follows. If you are not building a structure into your preparation and not incorporating some level of accountability, it is easy to get sidetracked by either too little or too much information. So, a roadmap with some support is super important. This is in the context of F electrical, very obvious because for F electrical and computer exam prep, we have 17 sections, and the 17 sections cover entire undergraduate engineering coursework, or I would say 95% of the typical EE or ECE coursework. And it's can be overwhelming. And without having a roadmap, a timeline defined, major milestones and mini milestones defined along the way. And when you get stuck, do you simply skip the content? Do you simply skip the topic and move on? Or are you gathering too many resources, too many practice problems to work with, or maybe too little information? You may just be skimming the surface. So finding that right balance to fine tune your preparation with clearly defined milestones, with a clearly defined structure and roadmap, and having support can make a difference. So, this is where preparation, both FE electrical as well as P power, sort of goes sideways. For the P power candidates, the P power exam remains fairly open concept exam in the sense that you can have lots of theoretical problems. They list out a whole bunch of line items that you may want to go into detail. Example is in the P Power exam prep, the very first topic we encounter as per the exam specification, it's called instrument transformers. Okay, when you open the reference handbook, there are no details related to instrument transformers in the reference handbook. So you can look up textbooks or even white papers or either articles and whatnot and do your research on YouTube, on ChatGPT, on Google, and accumulate a lot of standards, IEEE guidelines, and whatnot on instrument transformers. Or you can just be like, okay, it's not given, so maybe it may not be tested. That applies to P power, that applies to F electrical in different ways. In F electrical, it's a review of your entire undergraduate engineering coursework. With P power, the open-endedness of the exam makes it challenging. I've got this small request for you. 77% of you watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. That's a massive number. If this video is helping you out in any shape, way, or form, please do me a quick favor. Please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you will not miss out on any content that we've got planned, and it really supports the channel. The second observation that I have is getting overwhelmed by challenging sections. In FE electrical, based on my experience, when it comes to the FE prep, computer sections tend to be some of the most difficult ones, especially for power systems major students, or if you're working in the power systems industry. So, namely, your computer systems, your computer networks, your digital systems. Okay. These are routinely rated as some of the most challenging topics and sections to prepare for by most of the electrical engineers who are taking the FE electrical and computer exam. On top of that, if I were to add a couple of more, there would be signal processing and communications, comms. Okay. If I were to throw in just two more, it would be controls and maybe linear systems or EMAG, electromagnetics. Now, of this entire list, we have digital systems as a big five topic. This by itself amounts to about 10% of the entire exam. Interesting thing about computer systems and computer networks are that, especially computer networks, is one of the lightest weighted topic on the exam, but there is about 16 pages of reference material in the reference handbook. And all of these sections are challenging for multiple reasons, and they're scattered throughout the exam specification. So you're going to encounter linear systems fairly early, It's section number 6 or section number 7, if I'm not mistaken. And then intermittently, you are going to encounter all the remaining sections. Typically, the second half of the exam tends to be more challenging. So, what do you do with your preparation, right? How do you advance from a difficult section? Do you just put it in a parking lot, revisit it later when you have the opportunity, or you just go into the exam with under by under preparing for these sections? And if you take that approach, like these are 7 to 8 sections, and out of 17 sections, if 7 to 8 sections are undercooked, underbaked, highly unlikely you'll pass the exam. Then, when it comes to the PE Power exam, the PE Power exam is notorious for having really abstract concepts, and the failure rate on the PE Power exam is much higher as compared to the FE Electrical and Computer exam. If you don't have any background in NEC, if you don't have any background in NFPA standards, if you have limited understanding of abstract concepts such as grounding, fault analysis, per unit system, symmetrical components, again, intermittently, you're going to hit the roadblocks and it's easy to get overwhelmed. And the issue is that what becomes frustrating is that once you get overwhelmed, it's like a sunk cost, right? You spend a few weeks, you spend a couple of months towards this project, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going anywhere with this, right? And that leads to burnout and motivation crash. Students typically, based on my observation, start strong because the incentive is very, very high, right? You becoming a licensed engineer versus a non-licensed engineer doing the same job, you are looking at roughly at minimum 10 to 15% salary difference for identical roles, right? The day you get the P license, most of the employers do have promotions, do have title changes, do have salary increases linked to your EIT certification and P license. In all honesty, nothing really changes overnight when you get your P license, but it is a stepping stone in terms of your career growth, right? So the incentive is very clear. And if you decide to step out of your comfort zone and throw your resume out there and are open to switching your jobs and things like that, then you can even negotiate as high as 15, 20, 30. I've even had a student who went from $92,000 per year to $190,000 with one switch after he got his P license. Okay. So they're all different types of stories. So they generally, because of the strong motivation incentive, typically students start strong. Okay. Whether you're preparing for the FE Electrical or P Power, but it's roughly at the halfway point that you start questioning whether I'm even retaining what I'm learning, whether there is if anything is even sticking, and if I keep on moving forward without reviewing what I've learned so far, will it actually help me or it will hurt me? So that is the burnout and the motivation crash. And the last but not the least, sort of, which basically covers everything, and all of these points are interlinked, is that concept of the sunk cost, right? The hours that you invest and the sacrifices that you make. And if you're not able to quantify it, you're not able to measure it along the way, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And it's not just one exam, right? These are 2 exams. On average, students who are in my program roughly dedicate 12 months, 8 to 12 months, more closer to 12 months to take these exams back to back. FE exam typically 3 to 4, maybe 5 months, and the PE Power exam preparation, if you're taking a month or 2 months off in between, some students just take a week or 2 weeks off, and then they dive right into the PE Power exam preparation. The timeline for the PE Power exam preparation is roughly 4 to 5 to 6, sometimes 8 months for some of the folks, depending on what else is going on in your personal and professional life. Okay, so these are real challenges that have to be overcome, whether you pass this exam in the first attempt or in a multiple scenario. And these are real challenges. And another thing that I sort of is embedded in this is the fact that majority of the people who are preparing for these exams, especially with the P Power exam, are working full time. So it's not that you don't have anything else going on in your life. You're basically trying to find time and opportunity to sort of slide in this preparation in between an already busy schedule. And that makes it even more difficult. And then another challenge that you can throw on top of this is that a lot of people, especially for the P Power exam, and I would say about 50% for the FE Electrical, are actually out of school for some time. So that makes it difficult as well. And, individuals have their own special cases, scenarios. You can be internationally trained engineer. Your curriculum may not align exactly with the general undergraduate bachelor's of engineering in the US. And I've had some folks in my program who went through the coursework, and their undergraduate engineering was not even in English, right? So all different types of challenges. But broadly speaking, these are the major roadblocks that practically everybody has to overcome. Exceptions could be if you take this exam while you're still in school, in the final year of your studies, FE would be easier. But then if you don't have knowledge of codes and standards and certain other topics, then the PE will be slightly more difficult for you. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On a weekly basis, I'm creating content for FE Electrical and PE Power exam preparation. I also discuss topics related to electrical engineering with a focus on power systems engineering. If you'd like to learn more about my FE Electrical and PE Power exam preparation programs, please visit my website, studyforfe.com.